If you own an AR-15, the ground just shifted beneath your feet. And most gun owners have nitrogen monoxide idea what just happened. November 9th, 2024. A federal judge in Illinois issued a 168-page bombshell ruling that doesn't just affect Illinois gun owners, it affects every AR-15 owner in America, every state with an assault weapons ban, every gun owner wondering, can the government actually take my legally purchased rifle? And here's what the media isn't telling you. This ruling didn't just strike down one law. It created a roadmap that gun rights groups are now using to challenge every assault weapons ban in the country. But there's more. June 13th, 2025, just 6 months ago, the Trump Department of Justice did something no previous administration has done. They filed an amicus brief supporting gun owners against Illinois ban. The federal government is now on your side. Your life as an AR-15 owner just changed in ways you need to understand. What you do in the next few months could determine whether you keep your rifle or whether you're facing felony charges. I'm going to break down exactly what happened, what it means for you, and what you need to do right now. Stay with me. This could be the most important 15 minutes of your life as a gun owner. Let me start with the hard truth about where we are right now, December 2025. If you own an AR-15 in Illinois, California, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, Delaware, Washington State, the assault weapons ban is still in effect in your state. You still can't buy a new AR-15. You still can't legally sell your AR-15 to another resident. And in some states, if you didn't register before the deadline, you're technically in violation of state law. But this is critical. Everything is about to change. Here's what happened. On November 9th, 2024, Judge Stephen McGlynn ruled that Illinois Protect Illinois Communities Act is unconstitutional. He issued a permanent injunction blocking enforcement. Illinois appealed the same day, and the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals granted a stay, meaning the ban stays in place while they review the case. So right now, we're waiting. The 7th Circuit has all the briefs. Oral arguments could happen any day, and whatever they decide will likely go to the Supreme Court. But here's what changed in June 2025 that nobody is talking about. The Trump administration's Department of Justice filed an amicus brief, a friend of the court, document supporting the gun owner's position. They argued that Illinois ban violates the Second Amendment. Think about that. The federal government is now arguing against state assault weapons bans. That has never happened before. Not under Bush, not under Obama, not under Trump's first term. This is new, and it signals where the legal winds are blowing, but there's something else happening that's even more important for Illinois gun owners. Majority of Illinois county sheriffs have publicly stated they will not enforce the Protect Illinois Communities Act. Out of 102 counties in Illinois, dozens of sheriffs have said, we believe this law is unconstitutional, and we're not going to arrest people for owning AR-15s. Let me read you what these sheriffs said. I, among many others, believe that the Protect Illinois Communities Act is a clear violation of the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. So you have a law in the books, but local law enforcement refusing to enforce it. That's unprecedented. Now let me break down Judge McGlynn's ruling, because this is what changed everything for 15 owners. Judge McGlynn didn't just say, this law is unconstitutional, and leave it at that. He wrote 168 pages systematically destroying every argument Illinois made. Here are the key findings that affect your AR-15. Finding number 1. AR-15s are commonly owned. Firearms Judge McGlynn ruled that there are approximately 24 million AR-15 style rifles in America. That's roughly 1 in 5 gun owners. When something is that common, you can't call it unusual or dangerous and ban it. The Second Amendment protects firearms that are in common use for lawful purposes. The AR-15 fits that definition perfectly. Finding number 2. No historical tradition of banning commonly owned rifles under the Supreme Court's Brune decision from 2022. Gun restrictions must have historical precedent. Illinois tried to argue that there's a long tradition of banning Military-style weapons. Judge McGlynn looked at the history and said, "Nope, there's nitrogen monoxide. Tradition of banning commonly owned rifles." In fact, historically, Americans were allowed to own military weapons. Finding number 3. The law criminalizes. Law-abiding citizens. Illinois required AR-15 owners to register their firearms by January 1st, 2024. Out of 2.4 million FOID card holders in Illinois, guess how many registered? Less than 5,000. That's a 99% plus non-compliance rate. Illinois literally turned hundreds of thousands of law-abiding gun owners into felons overnight. And Judge McGlynn said, "You can't do that. You can't criminalize people for owning firearms they legally purchased." Here's the most powerful quote from the ruling. What is particularly disturbing is that the prohibition of weapons that are commonly owned and used by citizens are now banned, depriving citizens of a principal means to defend themselves and their property. Notice he said, principal means. Not optional. Not secondary. Principal. Your AR-15 is a principal means of self-defense, and the government can't take it away. All right, let's get specific. What does this ruling mean for you and your AR-15 right now? If you're in Illinois, if you registered your AR-15 before January 1st, 2024, you're legal. You can keep it, possess it, and use it within legal restrictions. Keep your registration confirmation. If you didn't register, failure to register is technically a Class 2 felony, punishable by 3 to 7 years in prison. But most county sheriffs won't enforce it. Still, if you're stopped for another reason and police find an unregistered AR-15, you can be charged. You still cannot buy new AR-15s. The law prohibits the sale, purchase, and transfer of assault weapons. Gun stores cannot sell them while the ban is in effect. But the legal landscape is shifting. Judge McGlynn's ruling is permanent. Illinois has to win at the 7th Circuit to keep the ban. If they lose, the ban is dead. If you're in other ban states, CA, NYNJ, CTMDMA, Dahaiwa, the Illinois ruling affects you because it's now. Proceeding. Gun rights groups are citing Judge McGlynn's 168-page opinion in lawsuits across the country. Maryland's assault weapons ban case is at the Supreme Court in July 2024. The Supreme Court declined to hear Maryland's case, but Justice Kavanaugh wrote separately saying the court should address the AR-15 issue soon, in the next term or two. Translation: the Supreme Court knows they need to settle this, and they're going to. If you're in a free state, watch Illinois closely. If the 7th Circuit upholds Judge McGlynn's ruling and the Supreme Court lets it stand, your state will never be able to pass an assault weapons ban. The proceeding will be set nationwide. On screen. Timeline graphic with key dates. Here's the timeline going forward. Now, March 2026. 7th Circuit decision expected June 2026. Losing side appeals to Supreme Court June 2026. June 2027. Supreme Court decides whether to hear case late 2027. If Supreme Court takes case, oral arguments and decision, we're looking at 18 to 24 months before this is fully resolved. But the momentum is on the side of gun owners. Now, let's talk about something that's not getting enough attention. The sheriff rebellion in Illinois. Out of 102 Illinois counties, a majority of sheriffs have stated they won't enforce the assault weapons ban. Let me tell you. Why this matters for AR-15 owners. Sheriffs are elected officials. They answer to voters, not to the governor. And in rural Illinois, voters support gun rights. Sheriffs control local enforcement. If the sheriff says, "We're not prioritizing PICA enforcement," that means local deputies aren't going door to door looking for unregistered AR-15s. But there's a catch. Kane County Sheriff Ron Haynes said, "As long as we're in the investigation of a crime, we have probable cause to be there and we come across it, I thoroughly believe that they will approve the enhanced criminal charges based on these firearms." Translation: they won't seek you out. But if you give them a reason to search domestic call, traffic stop with probable cause, other crime investigation, and they find an unregistered AR-15, you will be charged. So what does this mean practically? Don't advertise what you own on social media. Don't bring your AR-15 to public ranges. They keep records. Don't give police any reason to search your home or vehicle. Secure your firearms properly. The sheriffs are on your side, but they can't protect you if you're careless. Now, let me tell you about the development that changed everything. The Department of Justice brief from June 2025. On June 13th, 2025, the U.S. Department of Justice filed an amicus brief supporting the NRA-backed challenge to Illinois assault weapons ban. Let me explain why this is a big deal. The DOJ doesn't file amicus briefs in every case. They only do it when they believe there's a significant federal interest. And they're saying, assault weapons bans violate the Second Amendment. The DOJ has massive resources. Their legal team is among the best in the country, and they're now working alongside gun rights groups to strike down these bans. This signals the Trump administration's priorities. They could have stayed silent. They chose to get involved. That tells you where federal gun policy is heading, but here's the strategic brilliance. If the Seventh Circuit rules against gun owners and the case goes to the Supreme Court, the DOJ will file another brief supporting gun owners. That puts additional pressure on the court to take the case and rule in favor of the Second Amendment. And remember, the Supreme Court's conservative majority is very receptive to gun rights arguments. Justices Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett have all signaled support for expansive Second Amendment protections. If this case gets to the Supreme Court with DOJ support, gun owners win. All right, enough background. Let's talk about what you need to do right now if you own an AR-15. Action number 1. KNOW. Your exact legal estate use. Go to your state police website. Read the actual law. Find out. Is your specific AR-15 model banned? Did you meet registration deadlines? What are the penalties for non-compliance? Are there any exemptions you qualify for? In Illinois, the state police website has a detailed FAQ about the Protect Illinois Communities Act. Read it. Don't guess. Action number 2. Document EVOR YTNG if you own an AR-15. Keep purchase receipts with dates. Keep any registration confirmations. Take photos. Date stamped. Of your firearm and serial number. Store these documents separately from your firearms. Why? Because if you ever need to prove when you acquired the firearm or that you registered it, you'll have evidence. Action number 3. Secure your firearms. PROPRY. This should be obvious, but gun safe. Bolted to floor or wall. Ammunition stored separately. Nobody else has access, including kids. Roommates. Don't leave guns in your vehicle if your .15 is stolen and used in a crime. You're going to have a very bad time with law enforcement. Action number 4. Don't advertise. What you OW on social media is evidence. Don't post photos of your AR-15 videos at the range with your AR-15 comments about not registering. Anything that could be used against you. Prosecutors love social media. Don't hand them evidence. Action number 5. Join and fund gun rights org and ICAA. These lawsuits are expensive. Judge McLean's case cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. Organizations fighting for you. Firearms Policy Coalition. FPC, Second Amendment Foundation. SAF, National Rifle Association, NRA. Gun Owners of America. GOA, your state rifle association. Even $10 a month helps. If you want to keep your AR-15, fund the people fighting in court. Action number 6. Contact your elected officials as state legislators, you as senators, youth representatives. Simple message. I'm a law-abiding gun owner. I oppose assault weapons bans. I vote based on Second Amendment issues. Politicians respond to pressure. Apply it. Action number 7. Prepare for multiple SCNAR best case. Supreme Court strikes down all bans nationwide. You keep your AR-15. Freedom wins. Worst case. Courts uphold bans. You have options. Sell to out-of-state buyer, legal in most states. Transfer to family member in free state. Sell to FFL. Dealer keep secured and hope for future legal changes. Risky. Middle case. Some bans fall. Others upheld. Patchwork of state laws continues. Think through your plan now so you're not scrambling later. Action number 8. Consult a firearms ATTONE. Why if you're in a gray area, legally didn't register, bought after ban. Unsure of compliance, talk to a lawyer. Many gun owners facing potential violations have consulted with firearms attorneys to understand their options. One consultation. And an OW could save you from felony charges later. Let me zoom out and show you the national picture because this is bigger than just Illinois. Circuit courts deciding AR-15 cases right now. 7th Circuit covers L. In W. Illinois ban case pending. Decision expected early 2026. 4th Circuit covers MD, VAN, CSC. WV already upheld Maryland's assault weapons ban in August 2024. 3rd Circuit covers NJ. PA, New Jersey's ban case pending. District Court struck down part of ban. 1st Circuit covers MA, RI, MENH. Massachusetts ban upheld by lower court. Appeal pending. 9th Circuit covers CA, High, WA-OR-AZ. Multiple cases. Mixed results. Here's what you need to understand. Different circuits are reaching different conclusions. Some upholding bans, some striking them down. That creates what's called a circuit split. And when there's a circuit split on a major constitutional issue, the Supreme Court must step in to resolve it. Justice Kavanaugh already wrote that the Supreme Court should address the AR-15 issue soon, in the next term or two. That was in July 2024. We're now in December 2025. The next term or two is now. The Supreme Court knows they have to rule on this. The only question is, which case will they take? Illinois is the best case for gun owners because Judge Micklin's 168-page ruling is so comprehensive. It addresses every argument. It cites extensive history. It's a perfect vehicle for the Supreme Court. Look, I'm going to be real with you. If you own an AR-15 in a banned state, the next 18 months are going to determine your future as a gun owner. You have a federal judge who says your rifle is protected by the Constitution. You have the Department of Justice backing you up. You have sheriffs refusing to enforce unconstitutional laws. And you have a Supreme Court that's likely to take this case. But you also have state governments fighting tooth and nail to keep these bans in place. You have gun control groups spending millions on litigation. And you have politicians who think your rights are inconvenient. This is the fight. This is the moment. And what you do matters. Document your firearms. Secure them properly. Fund the organizations fighting for you. Stay informed about the case developments. And be ready to act when the time comes. Because when the 7th Circuit issues their decision, and it could be any day now, everything changes. Either the ban falls and you're free, or the ban is upheld and the case goes to the Supreme Court. Either way, your life as an AR-15 owner is about to be very different. On screen, subscribe button. Urgent call to action. So here's what I need from you. Hit that like button if this video helped you understand what's happening. Drop a comment. Are you an AR-15 owner? What state? Did you register? Do you think the Supreme Court will strike down these bans? I want to hear from you. Share this video with every AR-15 owner you know. They need this information. Most gun owners have nitrogen monoxide idea how close we are to a major Supreme Court decision, and subscribe. Turn on notifications. Because when the 7th Circuit rules, you'll hear about it here first. When the Supreme Court takes the case, I'll break it down immediately. This is history in the making. Your rights are on the line. And I'm going to keep you informed every single step of the way. Thanks for watching. Stay armed. Stay legal. Stay informed. And remember, the Constitution isn't a suggestion. It's the supreme law of the land. And judges like Stephen McGlynn are reminding politicians of that fact. Your AR-15 isn't going anywhere. Not if we fight for it. I'll see you in the next